Hey guys, welcome back to Web on the Web. It's me, Dan, here again. Sorry I haven't made a video in a while. Other things come up, obviously. But we're back. It's the new year. Happy New Year, guys. Welcome to 2018. Hope to make this one a good year. And it should be, considering all the films that are coming out. I can't wait. But there's one film in particular that I cannot wait for. And that's Avengers Infinity War, which is actually coming out on April 27th here in Ireland. And I'm stoked. I cannot wait. And I'm actually starting a new series of videos today. It's called Road to Infinity War. And basically the premise is that as a kind person on Facebook has pointed out to me, if you watch every single MCU film from now up until the release of Infinity War, you'll actually have them all done. If you watch one a week, that is. So that's what I'm going to do. Each week I'm going to watch an MCU film and I'm going to just give you a little retrospective, a few opinions on the film. This is in no way or any means a review, guys. This is just my own personal opinion about the film in question. So this week we're going to start with the very first film in the MCU, Iron Man, the original, and in my opinion still the best of the three Iron Man films. So what does Iron Man accomplish that other superhero films haven't accomplished? Well, you have to think about it in the frame of mind of this. Back then, the only superhero franchise we really had were a really continuous one at the time going on was probably Bryan Singer's X-Men franchise, which was I really enjoyed personally. Obviously, then we got Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, and you know how I am about that. But Marvel didn't really have a presence other than with those X-Men films and that terrible string of Fantastic Four films that we will never talk about again. Marvel itself, the company, didn't really have a presence in the film marketplace. So finally, when word caught wind that they were going to start developing their franchises, such as Iron Man and Captain America and Hulk, into their own films, that was every geek's dream. Everyone was like, "Yay! Oh my God!" I personally. I was excited. I was very young at the time, so I was nowhere near the the excitement level I am now. But I like to think about this. The films have actually been going on for about 10 years now. So when they started, I would have been about 11. So I've really grown into the franchise, and thanks to that, I started reading all the comics. I watched all the cartoons. By the way, the Iron Man cartoon is one of the best. It's not top Batman the animated series, that's the best, but the Iron Man cartoon from the 1990s, that's really good as well. But I started doing all of that, and to be honest, I think Iron Man is probably the film I have to thank for that, because that was the first big superhero film I wanted to see. And I must tell you all now that no, I did not want to see the Batman films at launch. When they first came out, I was not as big into comic books as I am now. I still love Batman because I used to watch all the cartoons and all that, but I wasn't big into movies at the time. But then I saw the Dark Knight trilogy, obviously, and I was hooked. But Iron Man really did stoke my love for superhero films. It really got me into it. And I've got a few reasons here why it actually did that. First off was actually Iron Man himself, played by Robert Downey Jr. Brilliant move, Marvel. That was fantastic casting. No one will ever doubt you on that. That was amazing. Downey Jr. is a great actor, despite his personal life. It actually if you think about it, that actually it feeds into the Iron Man character quite well, because the story of the original Iron Man film obviously follows. It's very contemporary to modern society. It follows a story arc of a selfish man who profits off war. He's later captured and detained by terrorists in a cave who force him to develop a weapon for them. He has an epiphany when he discovers they've been using the very weapons he's been manufacturing to murder millions of people. And when he escapes that cave, he dedicates the rest of his time to taking responsibility for his actions. So he shuts down his company's weapons manufacturing, and he starts to develop the Iron Man suit to go away and actually destroy the remaining weapons that the terrorists have. Of course, something that I really loved about Iron Man, probably not back then, but now, is the way that the villain in the film, played by the fantastic and the badass man Jeff Bridges, he plays Obadiah Stane, Tony Stark's business partner and mentor, or as his supervillain name is, Ironmonger, because he's a war profiteer. Get it? Ironmonger. He sells weapons. It's quite on the nose, but I love it. But he works like all the time. You think that he's there buddy. He's there to help Stark, but all the while he's actually undermining him from within his own company, to the point where he actually steals the Iron Man technology and develops his own suit. That's fantastic story writing, if you ask me. People give Marvel crap, a lot of crap for not having great villains. I'll give you an example right there. There's another great villain other than Loki. I do love Loki, but Jeff Bridges as Ironmonger was fantastic. He did not outstay his welcome because he was only here for one film, and he really did help to shape, the way the MCU was going. Both him and Robert Downey Jr., who I still love to this day, really did shape the way that the MCU would go. I would be really sad if Downey Jr. actually departs in Infinity War or the sequel, but at this point, guys, I think it's a full-blown conclusion that someone has to die, and it's probably going to be either Captain America, played by Chris Evans, or Downey Jr. So when it does come, at least I know there'll be a big emotional impact. I don't know if it'll be as big as, say, when Wolverine died at the end of Logan, because I grew up with the X-Men films as well, and Hugh Jackman has just grown into the character. He's just amazing. But we'll see. Other things the film has done is the fact that it's very relevant to our society. It deals with subjects such as war profiteering, taking ethical responsibility for your company's actions, what's right and wrong, terrorism in the Middle East. I know that's a very touchy subject, but it is quite topical, and it's pretty ballsy of them to actually go there and deal with it. And I think that really does play to the film's favor, because it makes it more. It actually helps it to stand the test of time. It's still relevant in today's society. It's still a fantastic film, very well made by Jon Favreau. I really do like Jon Favreau, and I really like his character Happy Hogan as well. He's great in the film. Other things, CGI in action. There was some fantastic CGI work in this film. I mean, the Iron Man suit. Come on, that thing. Who doesn't want their own Iron Man suit? Being able to fly wherever you want and fall down and land on top of your cars, and maybe cause millions and billions of dollars of damage to the city. That sounds fun. But the action in the film was also fantastic. It wasn't overblown in say a Michael Bay film. It was the right amount of action coupled with the right amount of story, and it really did play to the film's favor. And finally, what this film is most famous for in terms of the entire MCU as a whole, it started the MCU. It was the progenitor of the franchise. It really set the groundwork for what would come later on. And this is prevalent nowhere more than the famous after credit scene where Stark walks into his house and he meets for the first time Nick Fury, played by Samuel L. Jackson, who is a badass as well. Meets him and he's like, "I'm here to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative." And when that comes on, every Marvel fan is just like, "Oh!" I certainly was last night when I actually watched the film again. Yeah. So I'm not going to rate the film, guys. I won't be rating any of these films, but I'll just tell you that Iron Man is my favorite of the 3 Iron Man films. It's one of my favorite MCU films. And yeah, it was a fantastic way to start a fantastic franchise. And I cannot wait to talk about the rest of the franchise and eventually get to Infinity War, guys. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Next week I'm going to talk about... the Incredible Hulk starring Edward Norton, who later turned into Mark Ruffalo. So until then, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.